What's up? Back at you with another video. I'll be keeping my shades on for a little bit because I am still a bit upset. It's nothing to do with my home. It's just a time where I'm feeling quite pressured by what I'm doing here. I've decided to enslave myself and bring these videos as the news breaks. I have to spring now into action and get in front of camera. And I'm slowly getting used to this. It is extremely tough. So I wish not to be seen, but I have to bring the news in person. So I'll kind of put a condom between us a little bit. So let's get into this one. We are looking at Clement Manyathela, and the video is the EFF and the DA. He's got a person from either side on a discussion of kill the Boer, kill the farmer, whether the song should be sang and what is the people's position on this. Let's hear this.
Shoot to kill, Namaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa.
That's Julius Malema singing the Tubula Ipunu song at a rally recently. The Constitutional Court has today dismissed AfriForum's leave to appeal this Kill the Boer song. In fact, that judgment which found that the chant did not constitute hate speech. Remember, the Equality Court ruled that the singing of the song, which means shoot the Boer, does not constitute hate speech, no incite violence. AfriForum tried to appeal that judgment. I want to remind you now just a bit of what Judge Edwin Mulahlehi said when he made the ruling. It was a fascinating judgment to go through.
In the light of the above, I find that AfriForum has failed to make out a case that the lyrics in the impugned song constitute hate speech as envisaged in section 10.1 and 7a of the Equality Act. The order. In the circumstances, the following order is made. 1. The complaint that the first impugned song, open quote, kiss the Boer or kill the Boer or kiss the farmer, close quote, constitute hate speech and unfair discrimination is dismissed. 2. The complaint that the second song sung, open quote, Bizani E Fire Brigade, close quote, open quote, call the fire brigade, constitute hate speech and unfair discrimination is dismissed. The complainant is to pay the cost of the suit. I hand the judgment.
So the judge was basically saying that the lyrics to the song form a necessary part of the South African rhetoric and political history. He found that when the lyrics are read in context, they communicate the displeasure of the EFF and by extension, its supporters' frustration with the failings of the ANC since the country gained democracy. And the EFF has always been clear on that. They say that they sing this song to push for land reform and radical economic transformation. So basically the judge says the proper interpretation of this song has to be located within the political context within which it is sung. Now, the DA has released a statement right after this ruling from the Constitutional Court, calling on the EFF and whoever still sings this Kill the Boer song to stop, regardless of this judgment. The party says the song is unacceptable and divisive. And as you may be aware, this is the view that is also held by AfriForum. This is a view that's also held by senior US President Donald Trump's allies in the US, like Elon Musk, like the Secretary of State in the US, Marco Rubio. They want the song to stop. In fact, they believe it leads to the so-called persecution of white Afrikaners in the country. The DA says this song has no place in our society, regardless of any legal ruling on its constitutionality.
And the EFF will continue to hold on to this song as long as there's fear-mongering and lying and conspiracies being raised on the other side. They'll laugh and say, if you really had a mind and a desire to appeal to us in any way to stop singing this song, you would have first given up the apartheid flag back in 1994. Or even before that, they would say people should have woken up to realize the travesty that is being carried out on the life of the black person. And they'll say, you missed out on your chance to repent and call out your fellows during apartheid. And then when apartheid was forced to end by the pressures around the world and internally in South Africa, you still wanted to hang on to the flag. And then they'll say, years into democracy, you still went on to try and defend your flag You wanted to fly it at the back of your cars. And then you went on to say that you are being persecuted while you're the one who wants to fly flags that remind people of the persecution you meted out against them. So now that you are caught and all you have is lies and a mind full of guilt and you've got no way to act, now that your only tactic is to make yourself forget and wish for the black people to forget what has happened, and on top of that, you're claiming persecution, they'll be like, nah, man, this song is good for the agitation of these strange tactics as well. On top of the song being legit, according to them, for people being reminded that the struggle continues, and for the sentimental value of the sword, this song itself, the love that those who have for it have.
Here's the party's federal executive member, Willie Ocamp.
The continued chanting of the phrase, kill the Boer, is unacceptable and it is divisive. While legal rulings may exist, this chant incites violence and deepens societal divisions. Political leaders, including Julius Malema, must be held accountable. Farmers play a vital role in our nation, and promoting such division harms our unity. We need leadership that fosters peace, not division, and we call on President Ramaphosa to also publicly condemn this phrase.
Now, the EFF leader Julius Malema previously responded to attacks to his party for continuing to sing the song.
There is a court decision that must be respected. Those who have appealed it, they must go and fight it in court. We won, and we shall sing this song in line with the court decision. The court of South Africa, an independent court, has made a declaration on this matter and is closed.
So the parties that want the song to be banned have lost this battle in court, as Julius Malema says. And this is the final nail in their legal battles, because this is the constitutional court ruling on this matter, which is the final arbiter. So the question we're asking you tonight is whether you think the song should be retired in public arenas for the purpose of social harmony and cohesion, or whether people and parties must continue to sing it in political context and because of freedom of speech. I think this matter has been over-dramatized to create the same false impression that AfriForum has been trying to push with Pharmatex, that white Afrikaner...
This is an educated sounding reason. I feel dribbled there. He's a smart guy. He said, I think, and I thought he would answer his question directly. Should the song be retired? Should it be sang or not? You know, I like smart guys, but then when their smarts bails them out of direct questions like this, I don't like that. I don't like this kind of smarts. I appreciate people who speak from the heart. And me, I'm not one who will sing the song. I have retired singing the song on my lips. His question is a tough one. Should it be retired outright? Should there be a declaration that this song will not be sang? Should we answer that? That question cannot be answered by a single individual out there. And you're asking people to send their answers in, right? But none of them can really control that. None of them can decide that, but they can decide whether they themselves sing the song. And maybe you should have asked the question, do you sing the song? Do you want to continue singing the song? And then people would pitch in as individuals rather than having people talk for a group of people who would be filling a stadium. So Clement is not giving us his reason. He is a news presenter. He is a radio talk show host. And I believe that he wants to not be labeled as a left-wing media. He wants not to be labeled by Ronaldo host as the journalist who sides with the singing of kill the Boer, kill the farmer. So he needs to now hide a little bit, but I think the Ronaldos will straight up catch him and see what his reasoning is saying and how he's putting it and how he's just being deceptive, right? My straight answer, I will not sing this song. And how did I come to that conclusion? That conclusion comes by faith in Christ. I cannot sing a song that suggests or its lyrics, when read, are calling for the killing of a particular people, of a particular color, of a particular profession. It's a no. We are all made in God's image, and I will not be on this side of the song ever again. But let's carry on now. we're going to be listening. If you wanted my side, here it is. I now ask you to listen with the same ear. Clement Manyathela is not giving his actual view. He doesn't want to be quoted, recorded, saying what he's saying. So he's about to say, well, the Constitution, the reasoning that was given by AfriForum that this song incites violence, the judge did not see that. The judge did not accept that. The judge did not swallow and digest that. The judge spit that out and rejected it. And so on that basis, I stand. On the basis that AfriForum has also been causing conspiracy theories. And with their conspiracy theories, they've been trying to frame this song. I will stand by this song and I won't show that I'm standing by it. Instead, I will say the court has said this about it. That is a smart black man right there.
That white Afrikaners or farmers are being persecuted and killed in farms, when in fact the police's official statistics show that only one farmer was killed in the last quarter. Those statistics on farm killings recorded 12 farm murders between October and December 2024. 5 of those victims were farm dwellers. 4 were employees and 1 was a farmer. So farm workers are still killed more than farmers. And it's been found that these attacks, even on farm owners, are not racially motivated. The DA and AfriForum are doing the same even with this song. They want to create an impression that singing this song somehow puts the lives of white farmers at risk. And if that is indeed the case, which farmer has been killed? Because the EFF has been singing this song for years now. Which group of people were inspired to go on a killing spree of farmers after hearing the song? Maybe they can share that with us.
You see, the sad part about where AfriForum has put themselves, and I understand it's the attitude that they have as the men that they are. The AfriForum and Afrikaner and white people who are trying to speak and appeal to the EFF over this song needed to have a spirit, if possible. I don't know if political parties have a spirit about them or if they're just bureaucrats. We operate like this, we write you a letter. This needed a gentle appeal. This needed people to humble themselves and ask for some kind of coming together. Not a demand in the courts for this song to be struck down. However, they decided to go the route of, let's go to a duel. Let's go and have a finale. Let's go to the main event, the match, where it will be decided this way or that. And in losing there, with their pictures being taken losing, with them putting on their loser medal, everybody's now handling the question of this song by the technical reasons provided in a judgment. Instead of, however, had the DA had an ability to ask nicely and to ask the EFF for some concessions, to say, yo, we may be willing to trade this. We would like to tell you how we feel pained by this song. If they were able to come out and say, honestly, we feel made afraid by this song. If they were to say, we feel frightened by it, and we ask for your mercy, we ask for you to consider our hurt feelings, then maybe, somehow, maybe, there would have been some coming together. But because the AfriForum went to the court and they lost it in the court, what was recorded in the court is now the spinal cord and justification for singing this song going forward. They squandered their opportunity to come to the EFF on their knees, asking to say, yo, gents, perhaps you may lay down this song and we may pull down our flag, and other kind of concessions as well. Maybe a GNU, maybe a CODESA could have been formed around the singing of this song if those who are hurt by it were able to come to a truth and reconciliation commission about this song rather than going to a court.
The court was clear when it ruled on this. It said struggle songs should be allowed to be sung as freedom of speech. And in the political arena, the judge emphasized that the song's interpretation should be considered within its political context, where Malema advocates for land reform or for radical economic transformation. So now that this matter is settled in the Constitutional Court, do you think that the song should continue to be sung, or should it be banned? You can share your thoughts with us by sending us a WhatsApp on 078 459 1897. Remember, only to tell us your name and surname and where you're sending that voice note from. And please keep it at 30 seconds, or send us an X on @FaceTheNation SABC. After the break, we hear from the DA and the EFF. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are picking up from this conversation from the comment this evening about the Constitutional Court, which has dismissed AfriForum's attempt to appeal the Supreme Court of Appeal's judgment, which found that the singing of the song Kill the Boer, Tubulipunu, does not constitute hate speech. Ngobile Mhlongo is a member of the EFF Central Command Team, joining us now, and Davili Okemb is a member of the Federal Executive for the Democratic Alliance.
So you see, having lost it previously, they now tried to overturn that and it got kicked again. What other option is there? What about humility? What about going to the EFF and say, yo, we got something to trade. We'd like to give up a position if you may be willing to give up a position. Imagine the media, imagine the traffic, imagine how angels would come down if the AfriForum was to say, we are going to the EFF head office to try and find a solution, rather than saying we are going to the court, where they keep getting kicked out, and every time they get kicked out, there's photographs taken of them, and that goes into the album of reasons why this song can continue to be sung. It's shooting yourself in the foot, really.
Ngobile and Vili, thank you so much for making time for us. I'll start with you first, Vili Okemb. This is the highest court in the land that has ruled on this matter. The song doesn't incite violence. So why do you want the EFF to stop singing it?
Good evening, Clement. Clement, the mere fact that something might not be unconstitutional does not say that it is welcomed. I think we've got to look at where we are currently in this country. We are building a country. We are building a nation. And in everything that we do, we must ask ourselves whether what we are doing is contributing towards nation building. And I can promise you that this song is definitely not. Not when it's sang and not when it's heard. When it is sung, it is done with a certain message. We all saw over this weekend, when we celebrated Human Rights Day, the song that was sung and the way in which Mr. Malema sang that song. He sang it in a way, pointing with his fingers like a gun, pulling a trigger. It should not be right. And even if the court said that it is in the ambit of freedom of speech and looked at the historical value thereof, one should always ask yourself, in the context of where we are today, is this contributing towards nation building? And it definitely is not.
Why do you believe it is an inflammatory chant? You said in your statement that this song incites violence. What did this song inflame? What violence did it incite?
Well, it asks for kill the Boer and then kill the farmer. If you listen and look at the words.
So you see what Clement is doing. Clement is walking this DA man on the footprints of what was claimed and put on paper and brought before the courts by AfriForum. He knows that this man is stereotyped and locked in and beholden to the claim that says this song actually makes people go and commit a certain act. And Clement is going to debate him right there because he has already lost that argument in a court. And so he's set to lose it again if he goes the same direction. And I'm hoping still that he will try to reach out in a different way other than these claims. Can he say, look, we've been perhaps exaggerating. This song, we have not found anything about it that immediately incites people to go and act. But we believe that it makes black people angry. It keeps them in a hostile mood. And we as white people would love to be loved. We'd love to be considered better by the black people in our country. We would like to make amends in some kind of way.
Of the whole song, it calls the Boer rapist. It calls the Boer murderers. It calls for killing of a specific group in this country. Now, whether you refer to Boers as only being farmers, or when you refer to Boers as being white people or Afrikaans-speaking people, it doesn't matter. You should never call for the killing of any part of this nation of ours. Let me give you an example. The Democratic Alliance is a party for capitalism. We believe that the capitalist system works and that is what should be out there. We have never called for the killing
or the harming of any communist person. It should not be like that. And for the EFF or anybody to stand on a stage and to think that if they chant that song, it will help build this country, it's definitely not right.
Yeah. And
I am a farmer. My wife sometimes are on the farm alone at night. When she hears that, or when any farmer's wife hears that, if we want to talk specifically about people in the farms, she does not like that. She feels unsafe. And you rightly said, when we talk about farmers and people being murdered, we're not only talking about the farm owner, whether it's a black or a white person. We're talking about people on our farms, people in our rural communities.
Yeah.
But that's not the question. The question here remains, is this contributing towards nation building, yes or no? And it definitely is not.
Okay, let's clarify this, Willie, because I'm a bit worried about this messaging that it calls for the killing of white people, right? Because the Constitutional Court, in fact, you go far to the lowest court, they said if the song doesn't incite violence, you have to look at it within the political context, historical context. This is a song that was sung to challenge the system at the time, the system of apartheid. The EFF has said in court, we are using this song. We're not saying go kill white people. We're singing this song, again, to decry the injustices and also this current system of government under the ANC. Are you insinuating that people who hear this song would generally want to go on a killing spree of white farmers?
Clement, it's not only about the people that hear the song.
Let me quickly interject and read you. The radicals and those who hate the Bible will have their moment now. Matthew 18, verse 15 to 20. It says, if a fellow believer hurts you, go and tell him. Work it out between the two of you. If he listens, you've made a friend. If he won't listen, take one or two others along so that the presence of witnesses will keep things honest and try again. If he still won't listen, tell the church. If he won't listen to the church, you have to start over from scratch, confront him with the need for repentance, and offer again God's forgiving love. So, there's an approach to working out your issues with a brother. And this is for those who are believing in the same law, the law of God. So, under the law of God, with him as a judge, this is how you would carry out your matters. But if you are of Roman Dutch law, then the court out in town or in Pretoria there or in Cape Town, Bloemfontein, wherever you may be, that is your avenue. So what will ye do, AfriForum? Will ye approach thy brother? Will thy continue appealing? Or will you continue trying to go to the courts? Failing here, you'd want to go to the international court. Is it the court where South Africa took Israel? Can the AfriForum take the economic freedom fighters and anyone who sings this song? Let's see.
That sees it as a request or as an instruction, which it might or might not be. It is also about the feelings of the people that hear the song and feel threatened by it. I can remember when I was at school, we had a specific nickname for a specific person, and calling him that name every day. But at a later stage, we realized that he does not like being called that name. And I had to ask myself the question, is my right to call him a nickname stronger than his right not to be called that name? And I had to stop because I knew that this is hurting him. And I think this is where we are at this stage in our country. It's not only about what people perceive, people might think the instruction might be, or what the historical value is. I think the EFF and people singing the song must also realize that there are fellow South Africans that does not like that.
Okay.
And then ask themselves, why, if we know that there are people that might threaten, rightly or wrongly, it's not the question. Why continue with it? I continue after 31 years of democracy, where we are trying to build a nation. And again, this is a distinguishing between the builders on the one hand and the breakers on the other hand. We've got to build a nation. I want to live in peace with everybody in this country. I'm not going to walk around and shouting threatening songs or phrases out there at all.
Okay.
Because
So, cool. He's gone the direction of saying the feelings of the people. I guess he's not still being heartfelt enough, which is the sign of a bureaucrat. He needed to lay out his feelings, don't you think? Maybe even shed a tear if possible. But he's touched on it a little bit to say the feelings of some people are hurt by this. And he made an example saying we used to call somebody a particular word and then we realized the person doesn't really like that. And we had to weigh my desire to call him that, what pleases me versus what pleases him. Shall I lay my happiness over his, or should I let his happiness rise over my happiness? So the EFF can be appealed to like that. But then the EFF would probably say, your feeling of pain over the singing of this song comes nowhere near the pain of those who've suffered from the system that those who came before you implemented. And you who currently, capitalist neoliberals, continue to protect the legacy of that system. So they'll say, we're in more pain, dude. You're in slightly less pain.
I know it will not build this country, and we expect exactly the same from every single citizen who loves this country and its people.
Yeah, I want to bring in Ngobile in a moment, but before I do, Vili, if the EFF says to you, we are not calling on white people to be killed, why do you insist on being hurt by the song? And let me ask it differently as well. Are you aware of any white farmer that has been killed by someone who heard or sang the song?
No, I'm not. But that is, again, not the question. The question is whether this contributes to nation.
Remember, I told you that Clement is going to walk him along what they wrote down. I'm saying they. He's from the DA. That was the AfriForum. But pretty much the AfriForum represents those who kind of don't like this song. And he's now tying them to the reasons that AfriForum put up. He say, look, prove what you initially said or what you tried to prove to the court again now. And he knows that he's going to fail as long as he challenges him to do so.
To nation building. And if the EFF or anybody says that this does, then I've got to ask myself, what is nation building? If nation building is threatening or singing songs that you know is definitely not working towards a cohesion in this country, then...
And he's talking about nation building. If you listen to the EFF on the other side, the EFF is crying, saying that the only people who want reconciliation are the victims. Those are the ones who are trying to mend things. He says that him and the people he represents only speak of this reconciliation and nation building and cohesion, but they will never show that by standing with the EFF against the apartheid flag. They'll say people like you continue to let Orania be, but you want us over here to make sacrifices for you. You want us to believe just by your lips that you're talking about cohesion, while Orania is a sign of our separation. Even the GNU itself, they'd say, if there's some kind of cohesion, where is it in the GNU?
You've got to ask yourself, why are you doing that? And again, whether it's leading to a specific murder, that is not the question. One murder is too many. Whether it's a murder on the Cape Flats or a murder in Johannesburg or a murder on a farm, whether it's a farm worker or whether it's a farm owner, whether it's black or white, it doesn't matter. It is one too many. And we've again got to ask ourselves, is kill the Boer, kill the farmer? And just by the way, the words kill the farmer was not part of the original song that was sung in the struggle era. They've added the words kill the farmer. Kill the Boer refers to a specific group of people.
Okay.
Kill the farmer refers to a specific employment type of person. That is the person farming on a farm. And that should not be condoned. Not
okay. Let me bring in Ngobile. I've given you enough time to make your opening statement. Ngobile, as the EFF, what is your context? So maybe first of all, give us your reaction as the EFF to this ruling that really puts the matter to bed from the Constitutional Court, and help us understand what your context as the EFF is for singing the song.
Good evening, Clement, to you and your viewers. First and foremost, what a nice way to end today's day. What a nice way to end Human Rights Month, whereby our victory was sealed in the Constitutional Court today with this delivery of this judgment on this matter. Now, in the contents of the EFF, we are happy that our courts are not seeking to erase the injustices of the past, and they are not seeking to make us to forget the injustices of the past. We sing this song in order as a way of protesting against forgetting the injustices of the past. We want to continuously remember, because the system that oppressed us during the apartheid, during colonialism, is still there. The systematic exclusion of black people from participating in the economy of this country is still happening to this day. The systematic exclusion and disposition of land of our people is still happening now. Majority of the land, 79% of the land of South Africa, is in the hands of white people at the...
So we still need this sword. This old rusty sword that still cuts and agitates and reminds. They say we still need it. If you're keeping your flag, we're keeping this song.
Exclusion of black people. Now, if William wants to speak about nation building, The Afrikaners who own the land of this country should be ashamed of themselves, should come to the party and willingly give the land that they own so that the land ownership of this country reflects the demographics of South Africa. So that's the content. We are very happy to end Human Rights Month, and we're happy that once and for all, the matter has now been settled. No one will take it anywhere, and we will continue to sing and chant. This is a chant. The problem with people like William is that they want to interpret a chant. They want to monitor and police us on how we must feel about the injustices of the past. We'll never forget what the colonies and apartheid government did to our people. It's something that we must continue to teach for generations to come. This song must be sung. We found it is a struggle song. It was sung long before we were born. It was sung when land disposition started to happen in this country, and it must continue to sing. It's a song that says, kill the Boer means we are fighting the system, kill the system, the systematic system, which is apartheid, systematic system that seeks to exclude the majority of our people from economic activities, that excludes our people from land ownership. That's the system. If it's the system, that's why it's going to be feeling intimidated, because it is the system there. Yeah. We're fighting a system, not an individual. The song does not point out that go and kill a William Okapwa. We are killing the system, which is oppression and exclusion of people from participating.
So the argument by the DA is that as a society, we should be working towards this unity and healing and not seeing these songs that sort of deepen the rifts that still exist in our country. Do you not believe that this song is divisive, given that there are some stakeholders or sectors of our society that say we are quite worried about this song when it's chanted and what the messaging may be?
We're not worried, and we want to use this opportunity to call on the white South Africans who are owning hectares of land at the exclusion of our majority people to come to the party if they want to build a nation and want to contribute to honest nation building. How do they feel when they own land at the exclusion of the majority of the people? They should be ashamed that land ownership of this country does not reflect the demographics of South Africa. So they should be ashamed. They should be the first ones to volunteer and come and say to government, come government, here's our land we're offering. How does one family own thousands of hectares of land alone? And then they see our people living in squalor in the township, who are trapped as black people living in squalor in the townships. We look like sardines stuck in a tin fish. There's no space where we're living. And they know that this land that they own was forcefully dispossessed and stolen from us. It's not like they bought the land. It was stolen. They are beneficiaries of stolen land. They are beneficiaries of apartheid regime. To this day, they want to enjoy the privileges they got through land dispossession. They should be ashamed of themselves. As white people, that they really want to speak about nation building at the exclusion of our people. It cannot be, Clement, that we allow this thing to continue. So our people must continue to sing that song until attainment of the land, until they are rightfully participating in the economy of South Africa. Until then, Clement, we must continue to sing the song. Those who feel threatened by it, they are threatened by equality. They are threatened if they want to act like Cinderella because the shoe fits, they must wait. But there's no single farmer that has ever been killed when the EFF sang kill the poor and kill the farmer. Because our people understand it's a struggle song. It's not meant to target an individual or a race of people. It's meant to target a system, which is apartheid and exclusion of our people.
Okay, Vili, when you hear the EFF say that, explain to you the historical and political context. You did say earlier that you're not aware of any farmer that has been killed because this song was sung or they heard the song. You're not aware of any farmer that has somehow been pushed the wrong way. What you are addressing here is that there are people that feel uncomfortable about the song. But I could come wearing this red tie, Vili, and there are some people that may be offended by it until I explain the context of it. When people explain this context, in this case the EFF, and says, no, Vili, don't worry. You and your wife don't have to worry. We are not calling for you to be killed. This is a song that has links to history. This is our own context. If the people who are singing this song are saying that, why then do we still want to go back to, at the end of the day, I still feel offended. At the end of the day, I still feel like they want to kill me. When the people who are singing it are saying, that's not the message that we're sending out.
And then I challenge Julius Malema to go on a stage and openly say that he do not ask for the killing of anybody. I challenge him to do that.
He said that in the clip that I played during my comment.
Well, I did not hear that. But the point of the matter is that when you stand on a stage and you say, Paul, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. And I would like to just read you the words of this initial song. Let me just read it to you. It said, the cowards are scared, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer. These dogs are raping, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer. The cowards are scared, shoot, shoot. Never in the original song was the word farmer mentioned. So the moment that you change it, you're not speaking about the originality of a struggle song. And I think we've got to look at that as well. Why bring in the word farmer? Why bring in a specific group of people that you want to target? Clement, this should not be where we are in this country. We should ask ourselves whether this is nation building. This type of divisive language is not only damaging us on a local level, it has international repercussions as well. Our reputation on the global stage is at risk when such hatred is openly condoned. It's making our country more vulnerable to the external scrutiny. The court's ruling in this matter, however controversial, should not be seen as a validation of its acceptability in the broader social context, Clement. And we've got to ask ourselves whether this is contributing to getting South Africa in a better place or not, and it is not.
So, Willie, we've just had Nqobile explain, on top of the clip I played earlier, that we are not calling for the killing of white people. I think we're moving somewhere here, because you do admit that no person has ever been inspired, at least to your knowledge, to go kill a white person just because a song has been sung. AfriForum itself has failed to prove that the lyrics of this song could reasonably be construed to demonstrate a clear intention.
You see, Clement Manyathela is stepping on AfriForum's balls for daring this in the court and losing. He will forever quote their loss.
To harm or to propagate any violence or hatred. So you said, Julius Malema, you challenge him to go out and say we're not calling for the killing of white people. I'm happy to replay that clip again, but you've just heard now from someone who's part of the central command team of the EFF saying that's not what we are calling for. So with that assurance, are you okay, given that the courts have given the green line, given that the EFF itself that sings the song says, don't worry really, we're not calling for anybody to kill you or anybody who is a white farmer. Are you then at ease to allow them to continue singing this song within that political context?
No, I'm not, Clement, because there are people out there on which behalf EFF can't speak. People's action, that they do not control that. Why don't Julius Malema go out there? I've never heard Julius Malema in my life condemn any farm attack. I've never heard him condemn a farm attack and say that it should stop.
Okay.
I've never heard him. To say don't kill farmers is one thing, but go out and condemn it when a farm attack happened. Come with me to Hartswater, where 3 people of the Brandt family was murdered. Go and stand there with me in solidarity with that family in court. Don't go and pick it outside of the court in support of the accused, which happened in certain instances. So, Clement, again, ask yourself whether this is contributing towards nation building. It is not. Let's get to a point where we obviously recognize the injustices of the past. We must never forget that. I fully agree with that. There were such a lot of things in this country that went wrong. And we should never forget about that. But we should also not make the same mistakes again and try to divide this country via racial lines ever again. We are a united country, and we should not be divided by racial lines.
Yeah, please come in there.
Let's first start here, Clement. The EFF does not take instructions from Willie, and our activism will never be policed by Willie, by directing us on which issues we must take, on which court cases we must attend. He must leave that mentality of being a boss.
So he's saying, do not instruct us, appeal to us, come and sing songs outside the EFF, come AfriForum and come and give us some gifts, come kneel at the feet of Julius Malema and ask him, yo, could you please stop singing this song and we'll give you something in return. And maybe we will stop opposing the Bella Bill. Maybe we will stop going to Trump and trying to agitate or something.
He's not a boss, he's not our boss. We don't take instructions from him.
Ridiculous saying that.
Okay, hold on. Willie, I gave you an opportunity to speak. Let's hear him. I'll give you a chance.
He does not like it. Unfortunately for him, they have exhausted all the courts of this land. The highest court of the land has ruled on the matter. We will continue to sing Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, because that song is a struggle song. It reminds us where we come from, and we want to teach future generations where we come from and why we are in the situation we find ourselves in. So Willie must never think he can police our activism and channel us on issues that we must raise. We're an independent political party. We don't have white people we report to. We're in EFF, we report to the membership of the EFF, and we'll sing the song. If he's uncomfortable, tough luck for him with his uncomfortability. We're not here as the EFF to make white people or anybody comfortable. We're here to make the comfortable uncomfortable. We're here to disrupt the status quo, to ensure that our people struggles ahead. And the struggle of our people is land. Our people are looking for land. Willie must share his farm there. He's owning a farm. He just told you now. He owns a farm. Me and you, Clement, sitting here in this interview, we don't own land. We don't own farms, both of us. Any black person in the studio with you, they've got no access to land ownership. 90% of the land of this country is owned by white people alone, and we should never take that for granted and allow people like Willie to dictate to us what should be at the center of the struggle. What is at the center of the struggle of the EFF is economic freedom in our lifetime, and that includes expropriation of South Africa's land without compensation and nationalization of banks and other strategic sectors of the economy for the benefit of our people. That's why Willie is uncomfortable, because he knows what the EFF stands for. He knows that under the EFF government, he will not own a farm alone. Black people, farm ownership will show the demographics of this country. So he's afraid of equality. Any white person, ask them what they're afraid of. They are afraid of being equal to black people. And under the EFF government, we're going to ensure that it happens.
Willie Ocamp, I'll give you an opportunity, Willie, before we wrap up. Willie Ocamp makes a point that there was no farmer in the original Tubulipunu song. What's your response to that? As the EFF, is that something you've added?
We can sing any struggle song anyhow we see fit. Like I've explained, we can't be policed by really trying to detect to us what is it that we can do or we cannot do. That will happen only during apartheid. This is a democratic South Africa. We're an independent political party. We are not some desk of the Democratic Alliance of AfriForum. We'll do as we please, and everything we've done so far. The AfriForum lost that case in Equality Court. They lost their case in the Supreme Court. They've now lost in the Constitutional Court. Clearly, it shows that they've got no sense of what they're talking about. They are just grasping at straws, looking for relevance using the name of the EFF. We understand, for anyone to get attention in this country, they must use the name of the EFF. They've overused that card now. Willie, please, you've got no say in how we conduct the business of economic freedom fighters, and you've got no say. You are the last person to police us on how we must feel about the injustices of the past. You are the biggest beneficiary of the apartheid regime. You still have those assets you acquired during apartheid. So you really, it's a mockery of our struggle for you really? To be boldly sent here to come and speak on a sensitive issue like this.
Yeah, Willie, you can come in there.
Clement, I've never inherited one thing in my life. What I've got, and a lot of people in this country got, they've worked hard for. But let's not go in there. I can understand.
Hold on, Nobile, hold on. Nobile, hold on a second. Hold on.
So, Nobile is playing this quite nicely. She has to emotionally charge this conversation. The defense of the singing of this song should be emotional, as the singing of it is also meant to evoke emotion. So wherever this song is being discussed, wherever this sword is being spoken about, you'll know that people who have sentimental value for things, heirlooms, things that they've inherited, they defend them with their emotion, how they love them. And so she's doing that right here.
Nobile, I'll give you a chance. Let's hear Willie respond to what you had to say.
Again, even if the highest court today dismissed their right to legal or to appeal, again, that should not be the question. And we are not instructing the EFF. I'm just merely pointing out that Julius Malema or no EFF member has ever attended a trial where a farmer or farm worker was murdered. They have never. Let's join hands in this. Maybe we can work together to stop this thing. So I'm inviting you. I'm not instructing you. Clement,
hold on, Nobile, please, Nobile,
I'm not
please,
instructing you. Yeah. I'm inviting you. Give me your phone number, and when we are at Parliament on Tuesday, I will come and sit with you, and I will show you pictures of people killed on farms.
Willie, you're in the right direction, but you're still expressing what is the problem about you. You are prioritizing the white life, it seems. And people will call you racist for saying that's exactly what racism is. You'll even prioritize the murder of other people, the protection of them over others, while murder is victimizing everyone. Can't we be equal even under murder? Why should you even be special in murder? Can't your murder be equal to mine? Why is your murder more important? But you really would say, no, but I'm just giving this reason because of the topic that we're having and the people who do get killed on the farms, whom I am meant to prioritize. And so you'd then be exposed for how beholden you are to representing a certain people and how you just do it without shame. You just do it so naturally, and you expect everybody to now see you as natural when you act this way.
And I will invite you to come with me the next time something like that happens, whether it's a white farmer or a black farmer, I do not care. But let's join hands and condemn this. Let's not do anything that can enhance this.
whether it's a black farmer or a white farmer, is really just being inclusive so that he doesn't get called out for being a racist, for prioritizing the white dead, the farmer who is dead. And she may say, what about the teller who works at ShopRite who is dead? Can I take you to funerals of cleaners? Do you feel that their lives are important in that way?
Let's work together to correct the injustices of the past. And yes, you're right. Maybe I, Willie Oakham, do not feel exactly like that because I was a white person in the apartheid era. But that does not mean that it was right firstly, and that does not mean that we should stop correcting that. I'm a member of parliament. This is a calling for me, and I want to every day work towards building a better future for every South African. Black, white, Indian, colored, I do not care. We've got to build a new South Africa. We've got to always remember the past, but always remember that we are now one nation. And we've got to work towards building this nation and really walk away from any single thing that can break down the cohesion that we are trying so hard to work towards in this country.
Let me ask this before Ngobile comes in, Willie. Are you prepared as the DA? And I would ask AfriForum the same question if I had them here with us. Are you prepared to also say to your constituency, to explain to them that the EFF is not calling for people to kill you? It's not calling for you to be killed, because you yourself know that nobody has ever been killed in this country who's a white farmer because of the song that's been sung. The courts have already said no evidence. Are you prepared to actually go? Because here's my challenge is...
So Clement wants him to correct or step away from his initial claims. His initial claims being those of AfriForum before the court. He wants him to step away from those. And he wants him to maybe speak something different. You see how Clement has made difficult for him this whole time. He keeps on bringing him back to what the court said. He wants AfriForum to concede. And he has spoken very little about South Africa and cohesion himself. Remember, he's also a South African. Judge him. Seek to find out who he is and where he stands. Does he sing the song? If he doesn't sing it, he should say so.
There's often fear-mongering here. And I hear what you say about being a united country, but that attempt must also come from you as the DA. You need to say to your people that are telling you that I'm scared I'm going to be killed. You need to tell them that this is a historical song, that's a political song that doesn't directly say go and pick up arms and kill white people. Are you prepared to do that? Because otherwise, this is fear-mongering. We are perpetuating exactly what the courts say it's not true.
Clement, I'm not. And the moment that somebody stands on a stage with television cameras, pointing like this, pulling a trigger, asking and saying, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, pow, pow, it is not on. And I will not be able to tell anybody, again, black or white, that does not ask for the killing of people. That is how I interpret it. And that is how a lot of people interpret it. So to think that we must go out there and tell people, you know what, the EFF is not serious when they say kill the Boer. Clement, how would you feel if somebody says, kill Clement's mother? It's the same thing.
That's not true.
Even if you know,
that's not what the song says. Really, that's not what the song says.
Yeah,
but that's, you know that's not what the song says. In fact, the court, this matter would never have gone up to the Constitutional Court and they found in this way. You know that. I think that's clutching at straws there.
Yeah.
No, it's not, Clement. Clement, the point that I'm making, is
yes,
don't
finish
ask
your
for the
point.
killing of anybody. There might be people that feel threatened. Why do something if people might feel threatened? Why say something if you don't mean it? We've got to mean what we say. Don't say something and you don't mean it, and then you know that there's a lot of division created by that. What is then the reason of saying that? It should not be said then. If you really don't mean it, why say it at all? Let's become serious. Let's not threaten each other. Let's work together. And again, I'm asking, come with me where a farmer has been murdered, and let's support those families. Doesn't matter of which race. I'm inviting you.
And yeah, I think he's making his appeal really, and he has to be met. He has to be embraced somehow, no matter what we think of him. Embrace him. He has said, I'll take your phone number. I'll come sit with you in parliament. Let's not shut him down. Can we put cameras on him as he does this, can we look at how the EFF treats him? And if the EFF mistreats him and they're not speaking to him properly, let's judge that for what it is. Let's look and see that no matter how much white people can beg and petition, and this will depend on how far he's begging and his petitioning and his offers for exchanges may be, let him go the full distance as much as he can. Let the EFF tell us what he's brought on the table, what his proposal is, and then let's see how the EFF responds to that. Let's say he brings a concession and he says, all right, look, we are willing to offer a statement condemning the apartheid flag and Orania. Will you let go of the song? And not only condemning it, but we will work with you to untie and unbundle and undo Orania. Then they say, all right, we ask you to stop singing the song. If the EFF does not move to take that kind of opportunity, we will know that this is an organization that is just here to stand still and agitate and make people emotional only. That's what I'm thinking.
Actually,
Are you prepared to come to Soshanguve as well with the EFF or other parties? Because again, that is the impression that come with me when a farmer, whether black or white, is killed. That again creates an impression that farm matters are actually what is the biggest crisis in this country. But when you look at the statistics, when you look at the statistics, gender-based violence, when you look at the statistics, the Cape Flats. So again, when you say that, the impression being created is that is actually the biggest crime problem we have. But in fact, as devastating as that is what's happening to farmers, both black and white, and now we know that it's actually more workers who get killed than the farm owners themselves, then let's have a conversation about going to the Cape Flats. How about we unite there? Let's have a conversation about when patrollers are killed in Soshanguve, you, EFF, the DA and other parties, let's go there together.
Clement, the DA has been there many times. I can give you an example of Ian Cameron.
Agree to going again, my brother, man. Make this conversation a short one. Say yes, Clement. Fine.
Colleague of mine who is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police. Go and ask anybody on the Cape Flats. Who is the one person that's there that tried to protect them? It's Ian Cameron from the DA. We've been there. We've been there in various different trials, whether it's a farm attack, whether it's a rape, whether it's a murder of somebody on the Cape Flats. It does not matter. We must be there for everybody. We must condemn all murders. We must condemn all gender-based violence. And that's the point that I make. You should not do anything that promotes any form of violence. In this instance, we are talking about the farmers because in their song, they use the word farmer. They ask, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, which is, as again I point out, not part of the original struggle song. So they changed it. It should not be like that. Okay. Let's be responsible. Let's be the adults in the room. Let's get together. Although we might differ ideologically with regards to certain things, let's condemn what is wrong. Let's work towards what is right. And let's take hands and do that.
Yeah, Nobile, let me give you a chance here to come in and what are your last words?
Clement, it's very funny that William says that he doesn't see the EFF anyway. We are on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, the EFF is in different courts across the country, supporting victims of gender-based violence, supporting families of people who have been killed in gender-based violence, women who have been raped, children who have been raped. I have never seen the Democratic Alliance, not even in one court case that we attend on those issues. Now he wants to invite me to go and see his farms and see the opulence in which he and his constituency live in, and just to expose the poverty of black people so that I can go and see the opulence they live in at the expense of our people. We'll continue to sing. He's not been genuine, William, and the DA or AfriForum. The song, we better even say, Kiss the Boer, Kiss the farmer. He doesn't complain about that because we're speaking about kissing. He's got no problem with it. Every time we sing, we even chant, mwah, 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 kiss the farmer, kiss the Boer. So we'll continue to sing the song. There's victory now. The matter is closed. They can go and cry in the streets because they've got no regard for our constitutional court. That's why he's standing here boldly going against a court ruling, a constitutional court ruling. He's saying that it was wrong for it to rule in the manner it did. Continue to undermine our cause. So it's fine, let him continue. We'll continue to sing the song. We'll never forget the struggle of the land. We continue to call for Kiss the Boer, kill the farmer. Okay. We know it means to us, kill the system which seeks to exclude black people from owning land, which seeks to exclude black people from participating in the economy of this country, and that is a system that is meant to exclude people from having economical power, black people from having economical power, and we are not ashamed of continuing to sing that song, and we'll continue to sing it until they turn blue and green. There's nothing they can do about it. The Court has ruled on the matter, and they can't say that it's the EFF that's making the global community to have a problem with this song. How does the global community have anything to do with this? Because it has nothing to do with them. This is a song that was sung during apartheid. There is no global country that does not know that South Africa, 32 years ago, there was apartheid in this country. We were living under oppression. There was a government that was not elected by the majority.
All right.
So it is not something new. The world knows what we have been through as South Africa. It's not anything new. In order for us to rebuild this country, I'm calling on you, William, share the farm that we have. Share that farm with your black workers who are working there on a daily basis in that farm to feed you and your family. We are calling on all farm owners to share the land now in order to build this country. If they want to speak about nation building, let's share the wealth of this country. Let's share the land.
I've gone out of time, guys, and I have to leave it there. I think I've given us enough time. I've pushed this further than I was supposed to. I have to thank both of you. Ngobile Mhlongo, who is a member of the EFF Central Command Team, the Democratic Alliance's Vili Okamp as well, who is a member of the DA's Federal Executive. Where do you stand on this? The EFF, like the court ruled, says we are not saying people must go out there and go kill white farmers. The court has already ruled that this song doesn't necessarily incite violence like that. The clip of Julius Malema I played earlier clarifies that that's not what they're calling for. There's a historical and political context here. Vili Okamp acknowledges that no person has ever been killed because of the song. But what they are worried about is how sensitive this is and how that to them feels risky. Do you think that that makes sense, or do you agree with the EFF that the highest court in the land has ruled on this and the song should continue to be sung? Or do you think it's divisive? Let's hear from you. Let's start with your tweets that have come through now on social media. In fact, before your tweets, let's do your WhatsApp voice notes.
Good evening, Clement. Thank you so much for taking my voice note. This is Ndombi from Johannesburg. This song is a struggle song. I am not a EFF member.
No, I will just leave it right there. We've had a good discussion. This Vili Okamp guy makes some kind of sense. He's appealing where possible. He has lowered himself somewhat. But listen to the response from the lady from the EFF. She says, this is how low you must go. Go to the point where you are willing to split your farm with someone. If you're willing to go to that level, then you and I have something to talk about. And she's pretty much making it impossible because we know that white people will not simply say, come, I will be the first, come and share this farm, come and drive into the gate, let me see your black faces walking on this land, let me put a little fence between us, and now you're going to neglect your crops just on this side of the fence, and then pests from this little piece of land that I've given you are going to hop on over to my crops. So that is a condition that they'll never meet. And so like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the video. I will see you in the next one.